So, PlayStation Plus worries developers. So, developer digital think. Well, developer Devolver. Digital. Wait, I'll read from here instead of.
Level 857 Video Game Podcast.
PS Plus and subscription services could lead to titles getting buried. So, that's publishers have a big problem with keeping their games like out there for people to buy when they come out because there's so many now, and like the Switch gets I don't know how many games a week. They said that they have a stupid abundance of games,
It's too many games,
way more than anyone could possibly play.
Yeah,
and
I wouldn't doubt it's probably 20 to 30 games a week. Like I wouldn't even doubt that.
Easily.
Yeah.
So in order for someone small to make it in that type of climate is incredible, to say the least. Your game has to be astounding, and word of mouth has to be way more than a AAA title or anything like that. That's going to get the get the top 10 in there. So the problem they've been running into is keeping it there, and that's why you see so many games drop their price to like 16 cents
on the Switch,
and like $5, and like what are these prices? Is this a good game? Is this a mobile game? What is
95% price drop just so they can be on the discount section of it.
And then it'll boost them back up into the top so you can see them. Then they'll raise the price back up. So it's like they're losing money to get up to the point where they have to be to make money.
Right.
And that is something that the developers are scared of, because as that happens, they put a year or two into this game, or 7 years for some indie developers. So they do that. Today's the day you finally put it out there, and then Luigi's Mansion 3 comes out, and they're like, that's bad timing for me, because no one's going to look at my game, and for the next week or 2 or 3, that game's going to be there and get pushed down and down and down and down, and then you got another 40 games, another 40 games, another 40 games, and without a good way to search, and without a good way to have like a spotlight on that indie developer, there's no way to find that. So instead of the developers worrying about that, I think that they should have some I don't know what they can do, figure out a way to.
The way they had the eShop for the 3DS, I remember that eShop actually highlighted, like it had a section where it highlighted indies. Yeah. And that was awesome because there was games that you would never see. They had their first party games, and then you have the indies.
Like Xbox Live Arcade too.
Exactly, like Xbox Live Arcade.
Honestly, what's so hard about doing that?
And Nintendo should do that also, because it's a sign that says our eShop is
cluttered.
It's
cluttered. It's cluttered as hell.
It's cluttered.
And we do a eShop report on their trailers and just finding games for the trailer. Yeah. Some games go up there with no trailer. I'm like, how? Why?
Half the indie games that I actually play, I have to look up on YouTube. I don't know from the shop because there's just shit everywhere.
And you'll forget.
Yeah,
you'll forget.
There's no way I can keep up.
There's no rating system. There's no alphabetical. There's no date.
They just get buried.
It's just there, and you can't find it, especially if it's a month later.
Yeah.
Right.
Good luck finding it, even if it was a great game. Like, remember, there was a role player that we saw, and we're like, what is this? We missed this.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's the name of that? I had no idea. Yeah. We got to search back like 5 months just to find that title.
A couple of indie shop recap shows that we've done, like I could probably say maybe 3 shows ago. There was one that had amazing trailers. Yeah. Ask me now what games. I have no fucking clue. I have no clue.
Yeah.
And I wanted to actually look them up and maybe buy one. Yeah. But I don't know what they were. I have to watch our show again to actually know what games are up.
Right.
Hint, watch our show on YouTube. Also, Overthink Gaming just wanted to say Devolver Digital is their favorite indie developer, and they're looking forward to Carry On.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Well, I like them too. But Devolver Digital, the publishers behind classics such as Hotline Miami and The Messenger, which we were just talking about, they're concerned the number of games being offered at such a low price could lead to titles getting buried almost immediately, which we were just talking about. In an interview with the GameSpot co-founder, it's a name. You know how I am with names.
Yes, I love it when you butcher names.
Let's go.
Grammy Struthers? Grammy?
Help him out.
I love it.
It's terrible.
Try it again.
Graham Struthers.
He makes it sound so easy.
Hey, it's spelled completely different.
It's spelled crazy. That's the English language for you. It's spelled.
I love it.
He says, you do wonder if it's going to lead to a situation where there's so much content that you kind of fall off the edge. And that's one of the things that keeps us up at night.
Right.
So, I mean, it's a valid complaint, though.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, JT?
Well, I mean, for me, I've made a few videos on this before it even got to this point, because for me personally, even before I started getting game codes, like, this kind of leads into what I was talking about with the games that I'm getting. Like so many goddamn games to play that everything's just kind of spilling off the sides in our lives. Nobody has the time. I mean, I guess some people sit in their parents' basement and play games all day, but nobody who has a life has the time to realistically play all of these games. And all of these games require so much time that you have to almost pick and choose randomly a game and stick with it, and hopefully it's a good one, and all the other ones are going to fall to the wayside. And I wonder and worry about the future of the video game industry. If this keeps up, will it lead to, you know where I'm going here, like, is it going to be the next big downfall, the big crash of gaming,
or 5?
Yeah, is it going to be that all over again? Because back then everyone knows it was a crash. It wasn't really ET that caused the crash. It was just all these crap games, oversaturation.
It was the same game.
Back then it was shitty games. Now it's the opposite. Now it's an oversaturation of great games. But it's still the same problem exists where people only have the amount of time to play them. Like I love PlayStation, and this is going to hurt me to admit, I don't remember the last time I turned on my PlayStation. Like, I don't, and I love it, and there's so many games that I want to play on it, but I mean, my Xbox turns on every day because it's connected to my cable box. Like,
I forgot it did that.
I can't tell you the last time I played a game on my Xbox. It's like I play all my games on my Switch because most of them are available for that, and the portability fits my life most of the time. The only time with 2 kids and a wife, bringing them to school and doing my job, making videos. And then when I finally have time to play it, I'm usually about to pass out and laying down in bed, and I'm like, okay, I'll play this game a little bit before I fall asleep. Like, that's when I find time to play video games now. And that's not good, but there's no way to change that if I'm going to be still making videos and still balancing family. You know what I mean? It's, for me personally, those are my challenges. And I know everyone faces their own individual challenges. If you don't have kids and you don't have a wife, guess what you're doing? You're probably out in the dating scene. You're probably going to the bars. You're probably doing stuff, and you have a life. So it's hard to find the time as an adult to do it. Unlike, I look back when I was a kid, and I'm like, man, how did I find all this time to play video games? Because I remember I used to play outside all the time too, but I also played these video games all the time. I felt like I just had more time. I don't get it.
You got to get rid of that family.
There used to be droughts. There used to be game droughts.
Yeah.
Back in the day, there used to be droughts for like months at a time.
After Christmas. After Christmas, you play all your stuff, and then even nothing in the summer.
Well, not only game droughts, but I mean,
there wasn't that
back
many.
then the games. Well, no, I'd say there was still a good amount of games, but
of good games
back then, there was still good. I mean, I'm thinking like Super Nintendo had a lot of really good games on it. And those games were $60 to $70 plus tax a pop, which is basically what they are now, except with inflation, they're like $100 or $110 a pop back then. So people didn't have, and you couldn't get downloads. So you got a game, and some people that would be their only game for 3 to 6 months.
Easily,
I wish.
Like,
that's what I was gonna say. They didn't get them every week. No way.
Yeah, or every day. Like it was impossible. The idea of getting them daily was laughable back then. So it's just I don't know how people do it. I don't know how people find time today to do it. And I don't mean I'm complaining. I'm saying I definitely empathize with that. What was it, GameStop employee? Graham?
Oh yeah.
Graham.
Graham. I definitely empathize with Graham.
It's also because a lot of these games are like 40 hours plus.
Or more, 100.
Like it's crazy.
Oh, dude,
it's
I made a video back when I started YouTube. I remember it like, that was 2 years ago, and that video, like we all know how videos don't get the views they deserve. That video didn't get the views it deserved. I was talking about, are games too long? Like, and I know people, I'm not the only one that talked about it, but I asked a question about like role-playing games and how much time they ask a gamer to play, and people are like, yeah, they are too long, and I'm like, yeah, but there's always that but, because it's like games like Chrono Trigger or Final Fantasy VII, I'd want those to last forever. So some games deserve it, and some games just try to weigh it down with extra time.
I agree with that because
40 to 60.
I just dropped 170 hours in Fire Emblem Three Houses. I'm a Fire Emblem nut. I love Shining Force 3, all the Shining Force games. I will spend all the hours possible to play those games. But like, if I'm playing a Just Cause 4 or something like that, I don't want that to be 40 hours.
Right. But I think the problem comes in, because I totally agree with you. I think the problem comes in is that's from your perspective.
Absolutely.
But then there's some people out there. There are people out there that are just like, I can't wait for Just Cause 5. And that's my favorite game. So
nobody's saying that.
So it's
So what are you hating for? You're such a hater, man.
It's just cause.
I'm gonna throw this drink in your face.
By the way, Turbo is in the chat.
Turbo 857.
Turbo 857. What's going on, man?
What's he have to say?
He said,
but
"Yo."
I'd say
But yeah, as you were saying, Jeff,
it's also, I would say it's the golden age of gaming. So just go to the store of endless games, pick your game, and be happy with it.
Right.
But at what cost? Because by picking that game, those billions of other games that are out there are not being played, not being purchased, and everybody can't support infinite growth.
Right.
So eventually it's going to consolidate. And that, I think, is one of the biggest issues with the gaming industry at large, especially AAA, where they care more about their bottom line than they do about employees, because they understand the game industry. I've worked in the game industry, so I get it too, that unfortunately money is the most important thing, because the game industry, the entertainment industry at large, can come and go in a snap. So unfortunately, just because everyone's allowed to do it, they have to think about how we're going to survive tomorrow, and that affects a lot of human beings' livelihoods. And that, I think that's what we're getting at with this PS Plus worries. That games not getting played isn't a problem. It's the people making the games. What's happening to them? That's the problem.
So
ultimately.
So in a nutshell, digital games have no shelf space. The stores are having, they're not going to have all the space for these games. So that's why they're going digital. And physical games are going to be like a shelf of 6x4, like nothing. So those games are going to be there no matter what. But all these digital games are going to have to find a way to have a digital shelf space. And we have to learn and figure out how to make a shelf space for all of these games and make it easy for people to find. Some system has to be done. Whether someone has to make a website just for digital games for everything, that has to be done for this next generation to be correct. So
Well, I mean, then you get into the argument of
pay for space.
Well,
that's
then it gets into the fairness of, should people have to do that? And then you're cutting out the indies and the people that are working on, why do you need that, for people that are just trying to show off their talents. If it's a good game, like some of the best games out there are made by one person. Like and those games wouldn't exist if they put rules in play that would cut them out of that picture. So I can see both sides to it, and I don't know if there is there's definitely not a fix to make everyone happy. I don't know if there's a fix that would even make most people happy, if that even makes sense.
Just ask Google. They got this. They got this. They got something. I don't know. They got to figure it out. They got to figure it out.